That's the episode. Okay, I'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Error try again. Wait a second. Pin message. I gotta put this on. Ideally, here's a video for that. Here's a video for that. So that's up. Let me put this in Discord really quick. And Cam, I agree, Cam. It's just a little difficult right now, doing what I'm doing here. Obviously. With this is the first time I've ever tried streaming from like a hotel. So I'm not used to it. Let me go in Discord really quick and put this video link up. Anyone hear the new Pusha T album? Well, I am too big on the screen. Why did no one tell me? Thank you for dropping a like. Discord. Discord. Okay, we have that. Now I gotta move my chat over. Once I get the chat over, I'll be all good. Freddie Gibbs. I have not heard that much Freddie Gibbs. I've heard some. Okay, let's pop out the chat and show. You know, the song Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. It's kind of crazy how relevant it's been in the discourse for everything. Like, who knew it would bleed into like a presidential election about this stuff? But all right, that looks good. I don't know what I haven't looked at anything. I don't know what anyone posted. I'm not sure. Cool. Why is this not working, bro? Oh. Did I just mess that whole thing up, dude? No. I did mess the whole thing up. Oh no, that's not good. This is a struggle, tell you what. Okay, that should be good. Nice. Okay. There's been so much talk about this Barack Obama timeline, Trump trying to distract us from the Epstein files, and Waters says it's time for these people to pay the price. These people got to pay the price, bro. These people.
Fox News alert, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
By the way, Donald Trump confirmed these intel reports as president. Donald Trump confirmed them. So did Marco Rubio. So did Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who was Trump's press secretary. The entire White House confirmed this. Bipartisan. Russia meddled in the 2016 election. Now, why did they meddle in it? Who were they helping? They were helping Trump. We don't know the exact reasons, but the only claim is that, you know, they hacked materials and shared propaganda. There was never a claim that they switched voting counts.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over...
By the way, these are very base level reports. It's not locked away in a secret vault. If Tulsi wanted to find this right away, she could have. But they're bringing it all out right now because they want to distract away from Epstein, bro. Like, they are scared of Epstein. I did not think Trump was super involved with Epstein until now. The fact they lied about it being real, and now we know Trump knew he was in the files, and they said Democrats made it and all this crazy stuff. And now Trump said, don't talk about Epstein, talk about Obama. It's such a clear distraction. But some of the most like hardcore Trump supporters, their only want in life, their only thing they actually want to, the thing they want to go after is attacking liberals and arresting Democratic elites. That's why they liked the Epstein story. They thought Democrats were on the list, but now their guy's on the list. They don't know what to do. I did see the QAnon shaman, whatever, the QAnon guy that wore the crazy outfit and whatever. He turned against Trump. He said, F this guy on Twitter. So interesting that some people in the cult are breaking a little bit. I mean, I guess they can still come back, but it is interesting.
2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election. This was it's one of those big things where if Democrats wanted to turn the election into an easy win for Hillary or whatever, why would they care about using a propaganda apparatus a month after the election? Same thing with the 2020 election. Like, they stole 2020, but they couldn't steal 2024 somehow when they were in power. It makes zero logical sense, zero sense at all, even from a conspiracy angle. It's so stupid. Why would Obama care about tarnishing Trump's reputation moving into office? These were clear intelligence reports, like by Republicans as well. It's just so dumb. A highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this, and it was a rush job to publish before Trump was sworn in. Nothing was coordinated with the other intelligence agencies either. Basically, this was home cooking for Barack Obama. There were 4 key elements from the assessment that were repeated over and over again and formed the basis of the Russia hoax and the Robert Mueller witch hunt. 1, that Vladimir Putin wanted Donald Trump to win. 2, Putin took action.
Putin did want Trump to win. Trump is anti-NATO. Putin's anti-NATO. Trump is weak on things like Ukraine. Putin wants Ukraine to be weak. Putin wanted Trump to win because Trump destabilizes the United States of America. That's why Putin wanted Trump to win. That's why China wanted Trump to win. That's why all of our enemies wanted Trump to win. India wanted Trump to win. They all wanted Trump to win to hurt America.
Action to help Trump win. 3, the Russians had blackmail on Trump. That was the Steele dossier.
And why did the Edward Snowden? Why did Julian Assange, right? Whatever his name is, why did they only release information on Democrats? And they had information on Republicans, but they did not release it. They withheld it. So they hacked materials from the Democrats to help Trump win. We know that for a fact. Now, the thing we don't know for sure is if Trump colluded with Russia, meaning they worked together and coordinated their strategy. Now, we do know Russia wanted Trump to win, but we don't know if there's any criminal liability for Trump or his campaign. Any liability for that charge of working with a foreign adversary.
And 4, that the Russians tried colluding with the Trump campaign. None of any of this was ever true.
Remember Paul Manafort, who was Donald Trump's lead person on the campaign? Paul Manafort spent 10 years as a Russian operative in Ukraine, a Russian propagandist, a Russian agent in Ukraine before Ukraine fell to the revolution that ousted the pro-Russian leadership. So Paul Manafort, Steve Bannon, Michael Flynn, all these different guys have huge ties to Russia. And I mean, it's very clear. Cash Patel's invested in Russia. They're all invested in Russia, bro. It's kind of crazy how clear it is, but
there was no reliable intelligence to support any of these allegations. Senior CIA officials repeatedly refused to traffic in these allegations, but they were repeatedly overruled by CIA Director Brennan and FBI Director Comey, who insisted that they be pushed, even without verifiable evidence. The Obama administration cherry-picked the intelligence, lied about their sources, misquoted sources, didn't corroborate their claims, suppressed intelligence that ran counter to their narratives, and even used anonymous internet postings. Rank and file CIA admitted what they were doing violated their own tradecraft standards. There was a massive pressure campaign that came right from the top. CIA analysts say they received unusual directives from political appointees, the CIA director, and Obama himself. This is how the Russia hoax was born.
Donald Trump knows that the Russians helped him win in 2016.
Putin hated Secretary Clinton so much that
Trump himself said him and Putin went through it together. Trump himself said him and Putin survived the Russia allegations together. He sees themselves, or he sees both of them as brothers. Like he himself says this.
flip side of that coin was he had a clear preference for the person running against the person he hated so much.
It was Russia in a very systematic way tried to interfere in the election and to try to advance the prospects of Donald Trump being elected.
This was such a malicious disinformation campaign perpetrated on the American people that at one point, 60% of Democrats believed the Russians hacked our voting machines to help Trump win the White House. What this report actually shows is that the Russians just wanted to create chaos and undermine Americans' faith in democracy.
Yeah, and they supported the guy who led a coup on the Capitol eventually. They supported the guy who is anti-NATO. Russia supported the guy who is anti-supporting countries like Ukraine. Russia did this on purpose, of course. Russia's whole goal of destabilizing America, supporting Trump fell in line with that. The anti-establishment guy, who's actually best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, by the way. But yeah, obviously, that's the entire point here. Now, some people may have gotten it misconstrued that Russia hacked, voting machines, but they did hack things. The hacked materials they shared on a propagandistic basis to move the election in favor of Donald Trump. It's such a perversion of what these reports said, and Tulsi Gabbard brought this out now because she needed to bring something out because she wanted to protect Trump from Jeffrey Epstein. And now the Republican House is not having any votes at all. They shut down the House. They shut down the House to delay votes on releasing the Epstein files. And Trump is running scared with his tail between his legs and probably something else too. Hopefully, the other thing between his legs is of age, at least. We need to make sure that we keep on pounding home the idea that they are running away from the Epstein files. And if they release files eventually, they have assigned 1,000 FBI agents to go over the Epstein files to remove any trace of Trump's name. So we need to be very vigilant in making sure making sure we check out what happened to the Epstein files. Are they going to be adjusting them? Are they going to be taking Trump's name out of it and trying to put it only on Democrats? How are they going to try to do this now? Because Trump is obviously scared. Trump is delaying as much as possible. And they're throwing all the propaganda tools out that they possibly can to run away from it. Vigilance. Are those two words? I'm stupid.
Solid intelligence suggested that Vladimir Putin didn't care who won. He had no preference. But like most people, expected Hillary to win and had a little docket of compromising dirt on her. Dirt that he never released. Now, if Putin wanted Trump to win, why didn't Putin drop the dirt?
There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious, substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for
heavy
Trump.
tranquilizers.
Now, Clinton was on tranquilizers like the Russians believe.
And also, Tulsi is on Russian TV all the time. Russia loves Tulsi Gabbard. She's always been a friend of Russia and Assad. When she met with Assad, that was a big deal. Assad fled to Russia, obviously. He was an agent and a propagandist for Russia and a leader, to run basically a Russia vassal state, to help Russia fund, terrorist groups by proxy. Tulsi, the queen of anti-warmongers, bro. That helped cover for Donald Trump's bomb. Donald Trump bombed Iran and Tulsi covered for it. Like, and now RFK Jr., Mr. Maha, Make America Healthy Again, is telling us why we should be eating more fast food with real cane sugar. Although cane sugar is not different from high fructose corn syrup whatsoever.
Why didn't they leak it to help Trump win?
How credible was the information about Hillary Clinton's power?
All I have seen is what the Intelligence Committee have reported through their investigation. I think that the underlying point there is that we understand from intelligence what Russia said that they had. And the important point here is that if they were trying to influence the election, as President Obama and James Clapper and John Brennan, everybody.
Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll take some phone calls eventually in a few minutes if you want to call the number up there. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Streaming from my hotel room. Yeah, it's a weird position to stream from, but thank you for joining me.
Said they were doing in order to support Donald Trump's election, they would have released the most damning of that information.
Obama and his spy chiefs knew that Putin didn't prefer Trump over Hillary, but they cooked the intelligence to make it look like he did. Obama and his intel spies knew that Putin didn't collude with Trump and that he didn't even direct his people to help Trump win, but they put it out there anyway. In a sense, Barack Obama did exactly what Putin wanted. Undermined Americans' faith in free and fair elections and caused chaos in our country.
Yep.
Barack Obama, the CIA, and the FBI were the ones doing what our enemy wanted.
Yes, dude.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all.
By the way, she's on breaking points. What a dumb question, bro.
These documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Even 2 years later, after the election, Barack Obama.
By the way, Trump was president for 4 years, right? Trump was president for 4 years after Barack Obama. All the Russia controversy was happening. Think about it for a second, okay? Think about it for 1 second. One singular second. Think about it. All the Russiagate conversation was happening, and Trump could have told us about this before. But why does Trump bring it up now when the Epstein file comes up to make a story out of it? If this was such a big deal, you know, and Obama did all this fake stuff, why did Trump confirm the intel when he was president? And why did he go 6 months into this presidency without bringing it up? But Epstein is becoming an issue, so now they bring it up to distract everybody away from what everybody's actually talking about, which is the Epstein files that we have confirmation that Trump is in multiple times. And that's why Trump is running so freaking scared, and why he sounds so weak and frail when he talks about Epstein. Like he says, who cares about Epstein anymore? I mean, he's just like some guy. I mean, old news. He's so scared. I don't know why. I did not think Trump did any crazy stuff before. I know he's a terrible, disgusting predator, but as far as like the criminal trafficking part, I did not think Trump was involved until now, honestly. The way Trump's responding is making me super suspicious about this whole thing.
Obama was still pushing a hoax. He knew what.
Like Trump is super worried something crazy is going to come out. Because I feel like if Trump just rode on the plane, we know that already. If Trump went to a couple parties, we know that already. I feel like the only way Trump would be scared, and Trump never shows this much fear and whatever. I feel like it needs to be bad for him to be this scared, bro. I don't know.
Wasn't true. And he knew it wasn't true because he helped manufacture it.
They're undermining our alliances, cozying up to Russia. What happened to the Republican Party? They're cozying up to the former head of the KGB. Actively blocking legislation that would defend our elections from Russia.
When Russia says they love Tulsi and Trump says him and Putin are best friends. Crazy.
Russian attack, what happened?
Now, I don't know if it's possible to indict a former president for actions he took while in office. I'm not a lawyer, proudly. But Brennan, Comey, and others may have severe liability. Trey Gowdy says we know for a fact that Brennan committed perjury when he lied to Congress.
Director Brennan, do you know who commissioned the Steele dossier?
I don't.
Do you know if the Bureau ever relied on the Steele dossier as part of any court filings, applications?
I have no awareness.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
Well, that's a lie. Whatever happens to these guys is not revenge. It's accountability. And it's time for people to pay the price.
That's the real domination fantasy, right? Because Epstein, you hear them talk about it, you know, Barack Obama right now, they want to attack Barack Obama, find a way to put him in jail. Epstein was their way to do that, to get Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, all these different people. But now that Epstein is Trump's guy, which we've known for a while now, but now that Trump is running away, they are upset because they can't go after liberals and Democrats, and they're going after trans people and immigrants. But their entire politics is based off hating people and going after people and yelling at people and wanting to put people in jail. So they have this domination fantasy, always talking about, oh, just wait till we get power. Just like that Jubilee debate with Mehdi Hassan, where all these guys come up and talked about they want to vote their way into, autocracy, essentially, and a dictatorship. And they think they'll be in power and they can enact revenge, upon their political opponents. They never see how that can backfire. And right now, they want that kind of government. They never cared about democracy. They only pretended to care about democracy and free speech. So they could use free speech as a vehicle and a mechanism to get power so they could crush dissent. I saw them call Mahmoud Khalil today a terrorist after he responded to CNN, and you can agree or disagree with him. But they said, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? 50,000 times. Do you condemn Hamas? And he said, I condemn anyone killing civilians, IDF or Hamas. And they said, oh, but can you just condemn Hamas? And he said, no, I think it's, like hypocritical or selective outrage to just say, I condemn Hamas when Israel killed 200-something Palestinians on October 6th before October 7th. And whatever you think about that, it is true that there are a lot of problems from the IDF and Hamas. But that statement alone, that person's free speech, the Trump White House reposted that interview on CNN of Mahmoud Khalil saying that and said this is a deadly terrorist that should be out of our country. And that's so un-American. And it's so weak, too. It's so weak and pathetic that they would say that. And it's so... I think it's such a bad... It's bad for them when it comes to a logical sense of... He's saying if you kill civilians, it's bad, whether you're Hamas or the IDF. And it does kind of show their hand when they only criticize the IDF or Hamas. And they can't say that killing civilians is bad. Especially right now, because the issue right now is that Palestinians are going and getting aid and getting gunned down. And crowd dispersal because they have like 10 minutes in the morning to get a little bit of food, and there's malnourishment and there's a risk of famine in Palestine. So why talk about October 7th right now when there's another problem we're facing? You can still condemn things, but it's no matter how you put it, the White House, the president calling this person a terrorist over their ideas or their thoughts or their opinions is so un-American, so crazy. And I really hope I just farted. I hope you did not hear that. You might have, though. I'm using a Yeti in this hotel room. I'm done. I'm done talking about that. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. See, someone in the chat said, they said, they drew first blood. Like, you guys are such pussies. You thought COVID was like internment camps, bro. You thought COVID was concentration camps. You thought COVID was the biggest, most disgusting thing you've ever gone through that any person could go through. You couldn't go to TGI Fridays and Chuck E. Cheese without a mask on for 2 months, and you start pissing your pants and shitting yourself and start crying like a little baby boy. Like, it's so pathetic, bro. Can you get a pair? Can you get a pair in America? Can Americans stop bitching and complaining about the dumbest shit? Like, there's hungry people out there. There's people that need healthcare. People that need relief from their crushing debt, from these mortgages and housing markets failing. And you living paycheck to paycheck, and you dumbasses you spend all your time just being pussies. It's actually crazy. All right, there's another video on here. Are there people calling? There's people calling me. Do I want to yell in a hotel room? Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll take some phone calls. There's one more video on Fox News I wanted to watch really quick. What did Detroit lawmakers say about? Ooh. I saw that a few businesses really had their profit margin die because of the tariffs. Here's one. Tulsi Gabbard warns of deep state actors who do not want Russiagate.
Director of National Intelligence.
Russiagate docs exposed, bro. So exposed. By the way, again, Trump accepted the intel reports when he became president for 4 years after Obama. There was never an issue about this topic. It was confirmed by Marco Rubio on a bipartisan consensus, and our intelligence agencies all agreed. Trump agreed, everyone agreed. But now they disagree, and they're making a propaganda story to go after Barack Obama to distract away from the fact that Trump is on the Epstein files. And we know that for a fact now. And Trump's demeanor is scared. He looks spooked. He looks spooked as shit. He looks so spooked right now. He's running away faster than Sonic the Hedgehog chasing after a chili dog, bro.
Tulsi Gabbard joins me now. All right, Director, tell me the story about how you found this evidence.
Well, I called Putin, and I called the KGB, and I called Assad up. She hooked up with Assad again. Do you think Tulsi Gabbard and Mossad hooked up? I don't know if that's sexist, but she does love Mossad and hung out with him alone for a long time, secretly. I never mind.
Well, as you know, Jesse, the integrity of our democratic republic, of our elections, is of paramount importance to the American people. Knowing what had occurred previously, the things, this Russia hoax thing that was called a conspiracy, I wanted to get to the bottom of the truth.
Wait, if I said Mossad, I meant Assad. I don't know which one I said. You know what I meant, though. You knew what I meant.
Of what actually happened here. This was obviously important to President Trump, but again, is an issue of importance to every single American in this country and the future of our country as a republic. So shortly after coming into this position as Director of National Intelligence, I formed a special team to investigate this issue.
A special
I gotta tell you,
team.
it wasn't easy. There were a lot of deep state obstacles that exist still within the intelligence community.
A lot of deep state obstacles, bro. Like facts. Bro, deep state obstacles. Tell us more, Tulsi. I want to know what the obstacles are, bro. Is it somewhere, are the obstacles where the Epstein files are? I'm just really curious. I don't know if you can use your intelligence to let us know why Trump's name is in there so often, but oh yeah, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for joining me for this stream. I appreciate it.
Community. But ultimately, we had a whistleblower who came forward that brought some critical pieces to this story. And we were able to discover these documents and find these documents that really pointed to President Obama directing his national security leaders in James Clapper and John Brennan to manufacture this January 2017 intelligence community assessment. The investigation that I led at ODNI that we released last week, Friday, provided a lot of those foundational building blocks and proof for what we know happened. The report that we released today, the House Intelligence Committee Oversight Majority Staff report that investigated that January 2017 assessment that President Obama...
She's been talking for around like a minute and a half and has said nothing so far because she needs to layer the bullshit on the glass so you can't see through it when she tries to show you the lies. You can't really distinguish the lies from anything else. So make a bunch of like... statements that sound procedural, that sound like they are wordy and sound complex. She said nothing so far at all.
Had manufactured
deep state loopholes, bro.
With fake intelligence in order to
achieve
knowingly using false intelligence.
Knowingly using false intelligence. Okay, good.
In order to get to the conclusion that he wanted to promote to the American people that Putin had acted in favor of President Trump winning that election in 2016. The report we released today, line by line, goes through it, dissecting and debunking the knowing falsehoods and lies that were included in that assessment with the specific intent to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump, to subvert the will of the American people who had just voted to elect Donald Trump in 2016, and to, in essence, launch this years-long coup against President Trump that lasted throughout the 4 years of his administration.
Okay, so why did Tulsi not say, explain this, Tulsi. If Obama wanted to tank Trump, if Obama wanted to destroy Trump, why did Obama wait until after the election to say this, that Russia helped Trump win? Why did Obama wait? Why did he wait? Trump was in office already. Why did he wait? And why did Trump accept the intel briefing? And why did Marco Rubio accept it? Think for 1 second, MAGA. If a MAGA supporter watches this, please don't buy into this. You don't want to be that sad and pathetic, bro. Just think about it for 2 seconds.
Back in 2016.
You mentioned, Director, that there's...
It's like the Epstein files when Trump says they're not real. If they were real, Biden would have released them, if they had something about Trump in there. So there's nothing about Trump in there. But also Biden and Obama put fake, and Hillary Clinton too, they put fake things in the Epstein files to falsely frame Trump. Why would they go through all this work of putting fake things in the files to put Trump's name in there if they were not going to release it? So they went through this whole conspiracy to put Trump's name in the files, and they went through all this work. By the way, Trump said they were fake, and Trump said they were, whatever. But Trump said that Democrats, if there was something about Trump, they would have released Epstein files. All right. But then he said Democrats put things in the files. So why not release the things they put? Do you see how that makes no sense? They went through all that work to put Trump in the files so he could find it? Is it a scavenger hunt?
I guess deep state actors who are still trying to prevent the truth from coming out. What do you mean by that?
Yes, buzzwords. Deep state actors preventing the truth. Oh.
There are still people, won't surprise you, within the intelligence community who don't want this information to see the light of day. Some of them may be implicated in the crafting of it. Others are concerned about people being embarrassed. Others are concerned about accountability and what else we will discover as we continue down this path towards the truth and bringing about accountability for the American people. That's really what this is all about and why it does such a disservice. I was standing there in the White House press briefing room and hearing some of these crazy questions being asked by members of the media who are trying to distract and deflect away from the historic expose that we have brought forward that once again puts into question the American people's ability to trust the integrity of our democratic republic. And the reason why that is, and it's similar to the deep state actors who have been trying to stop.
Remember, this guy right here, this 14-year-old, 55-year-old, drunk, frat boy, retired gambling addict, like this guy right here said that Putin did not support Trump. Putin simply wanted to destroy American democracy and trust in the system. All right, Putin wanted to do that. Now, they go on this whole rant about why you cannot trust it. Tulsi right here is telling you over and over and over again, there are deep state actors you cannot trust. She is doing Russia's propaganda. Like, they tell you what they're doing as well. Like, in the lies, they are honest in some areas. So there's a reason Tulsi is known as one of the favorites on Russian state television, and why Tulsi was friends with Assad. And why Tulsi is very preferential towards Russia when she speaks about foreign policy.
Stop us from releasing this is that we have members of the media who were complicit in this from the very beginning, who were leaked early copies of this, or at least lines from this January 2017 Obama manufactured intelligence assessment. They printed what they were fed. People like Ellen Nakashima from the Washington Post, who, by the way, went on to win a Pulitzer Prize because for years she was so good at lying and not telling the truth to the American people that they gave her an award for it. These people are still here. Ellen Nakashima is still harassing people who work within the intelligence community who are calling up and reporting her, using burner phones to try to ask them harassing questions. There are a lot of deep state actors still here.
True. If the deep state wanted to, if the deep state wanted to kill Trump, destroy Trump's political career too, they would have released Epstein files. Like, it all doesn't make sense, bro. There's either not a conspiracy or there is a conspiracy, or I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, bro? All I know is Trump is afraid. He seems scared. Him and Epstein did some weird things together. We just don't know how weird, all right? We know he did some weird things. We know they ended up in some weird places. We know they really enjoyed it. Trump talks to Epstein like he's a lover. I don't know if they are, maybe a part of the LGBT community. Maybe not. Maybe so. Who knows? But they did something together that was weird and bad. We just don't know how weird and bad. But Trump's reaction to this whole thing, it's really raising some eyebrows. I'm not going to lie.
Within Washington, President Trump wants us to find the truth, deserve the truth, and they deserve accountability, which is why I'm really glad to see that Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice announced the creation of a strike force team today, specifically to get after all the intelligence and evidence that we have gathered. We have more coming, and to determine the path forward to bring about that accountability.
We look forward to hearing from you and from the strike force, because this is information everybody deserves to know. Director, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News.
The strike force, bro. The strike force. Thank goodness we got the strike force to find the nothing. Oh my God. Thank goodness, dude. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll take a phone call maybe. We'll see. I don't know. People like watching videos more sometimes. Me having debates versus people, kind of old news, for real, for real. Should I take debates? Should I take calls? What do you guys think? I'll put a poll up. I'll put a poll up about that. Should I take some calls? Here, let's put a poll up really quick. Shut up, loser. Shut up, loser. Shut up, loser. Shut up, loser. I am a loser, so what, dude? Your mom don't mind. Where's this at? Oh, here. Yes, debates. Right there. Got that down too. Wow. How are we doing viewership wise? 500. Well, thank you for watching. I'm streaming from a hotel room. I went through tons of effort to drag my computer here. One of my computer, my old computer. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, I know we get more people on the reacts, Kyle. I know, because the calls are terrible too. The calls are terrible. I don't post any videos anyway about anything. It's hard to say. But yeah, please consider dropping a like, commenting, subscribing, following my stuff. You can donate to Jolah Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Really appreciate it. Gone through hard work to bring you some content here, hopefully. You ain't no Joe Rogan. There's no one ready to call right now, I don't think, anyway, so. A former inmate from Epstein prison rips cover-up. No way. Wait, let's see this one right here. Of course Trump is in the Epstein files, bro. How could he not be? He would have to try to not be in the Epstein files, dude. He would have to actively, like, work his ass off to not be in the Epstein files. People who mean well are the disasters. It really depends on who calls, how they call, what the calls are. All that kind of stuff. Treasonous conspiracy, bro. Ooh, the Dems have a new radical on their roster? Oh, who's the radical? The Dems have a new radical on their roster, guys. There's a new radical. Who's the new one?
What a novel idea, Greg. Actually listening to someone who represents the community themselves rather than an ideologue and an anti-Semitic to boot.
Yeah, you know what? He wouldn't denounce Hamas, but asking a militant to denounce Hamas is like asking a priest to denounce God, because that would crush their entire oppression filter. There could be no way that the oppressed can be evil, because that collapses everything. You know, if you say Hamas are terrorists and not freedom fighters, then what are you doing? If you say murderers are heinous criminals and not victims of centuries of oppression.
The only correct answer is that the IDF and Hamas have done war crimes. They are war criminals. When it comes to killing civilians violently, right now the big issue is Israel and starving Palestinians. But you can definitely say that they both killed civilians, and that's what Mahmoud Khalil has said. I don't think he needs to say, I condemn Hamas. I think he condemns both. And he can have that opinion. He's allowed to have that opinion, whether I agree or disagree. He's allowed to have that opinion. And the fact they want to censor him and cancel him, and the Trump White House wants to put him in jail and deport him, I hope he wins his lawsuit against the Trump admin, because the First Amendment matters, bro.
Then where is your ideology? If you cannot... We're trying to apply the same moral framework that we abide by to them. But if we do that, then their justification for violence dissolves. It used to be that illegal actions had no context whatsoever. They were just illegal. But the left, I would say, starting in the 60s, created an entire ideology that excuses criminality based on your...
Starting in the 60s.
Your intentions.
Your intentions. No. It's talking about why people come from certain backgrounds and do certain things, not just blaming them for every single one of their conditions. Especially in the 60s, when it comes to black people forced into ghettos, being subjugated and oppressed for so many years in America, not having any rights to own anything or to vote or anything. And it's really funny, Fox News hates the 60s, and they call themselves Nazis now for funsies. But they hate the 60s. They hate the civil rights movement. Every period in American history. That's the answer, by the way. Make America Great Again goes right back before the 60s, before Martin Luther King Jr., before the March on Washington, before all that. They got sick of hearing the blacks and the browns and the gays give their opinions. And that's what Trump is all about. They're pissed off hearing pronouns. They're pissed off hearing colored, how they, you know what they say. You know what they say, dude.
You split the population into oppressors and the oppressed. And if you're the oppressor, then it's open game. And because you know better and you mean...
Someone said you're giving nothing but opinions. Wow. You are so full. You're so cool. You're so freaking cool, dude.
Well, you can stop traffic. You can deface art. You can tear down statues. You can bully and mob Jewish students on campus because, you know, when something is evil, everything is on the table. You can do whatever you want.
Did you guys see that a majority of Jewish voters in New York City voted for Zohran Mamdani? a majority of Jewish voters there. And a high percentage of the protesters for Palestine have been Jewish as well. Now there's definitely harassment in some areas of the country, but as a broad movement, the idea that there are a bunch of like anti-Semites, when Trump himself had dinner with Nick Fuentes, who's the most prominent, most raging neo-Nazi in America, and probably the most popular neo-Nazi globally, other than Stephen Miller. Trump dined with him, and no one cares at all. No one says anything about that. And that's someone who actually just hates Jewish people.
It's the same mentality that almost got Trump killed. This guy could not say Hamas is evil, because if he did, then where would his ideology be?
And how is it okay that these Democratic lawmakers are cozying up to this person that Greg is describing? He's a monster. I mean, come on. And this is who they're taking their photo ops with instead of, what about the Angel families? You know, between him and Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who's next on their performative virtue signaling?
Him and Kilmar Abrego Garcia, what about Angel families? It's so disgusting how they use the death of young girls and people in general in America to attack immigrants and people of color in general. Like, what about Angel families? Everyone agrees that's bad. What we don't agree on is cutting up the Constitution, ripping it apart, is putting people in jail for their speech, is putting people in cages and putting people in terrible conditions over technicalities in immigration law, taking away their legal status and putting them in alligator Alcatraz. We don't agree with sending people without due process to El Salvador to be tortured. And the American people don't agree either, a majority. The Supreme Court agrees with me 9-0 on that. That there was no due process followed for these people, and there's a huge violation of the Constitution here. The idea they want to weaponize Lake and Riley and these poor people who have passed away, these children who have passed away, for their political means over and over and over again. Meanwhile, they have the pedophile protection party in office right now. You know, whether it's Matt Gaetz, whether it's Jim Jordan, whether it's Donald Trump, you know, whether it's all these guys have something on them. Rick Scott doing huge Medicaid fraud. Let's talk about that. But they want to take healthcare away from the American people that are working their asses off and people that are on disability and everything else. You know, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror to find the anger that you really have right now. It's so freaking. I hate seeing that. It's so vicious. It's so disgusting, bro. So disgusting.
Talks.
You'd have to ask Jessica. I don't know why they do that. They don't have to do that. Anytime Trump does something to anybody, it just makes them a victim. And then they have to then come and embrace that victim. But you look at the...
You mean when Trump calls him a terrorist and threatens to put him in jail and deport him to a country he's never been to? I mean, yeah, you're kind of a victim there, especially on First Amendment grounds. You're kind of, yeah, you are, yeah.
This guy, he likes Hamas.
Unless if you're a big government cuck. Unless if you're a big government cuck. You might be a big government cuck. It's okay if you're a big government cuck. A BGC, but I mean...
And they have every right to get rid of him. U.S. law says that the United States government can deport a foreign national who's in this country if they're interfering with our foreign policy. So if this guy is inside...
If you think a random college kid is interfering with foreign policy, you are the most pussy person of all existence. You gotta go get some... You gotta go get some Tampax. You gotta go get some Vagisil. You gotta go get some balls. You gotta sack up. Like, if you really think this person is a threat, but you just don't like this person talking because he's, you know, an immigrant, because he's not white, because he has an accent, because he disagrees with your position on, you don't care about that part. You care about him being a college kid. This is your attack on liberals and college kids and blah, blah, blah. You don't give a shit about anything else. It really is so clear.
Citing violent pro-Hamas riots at Columbia University, Ivy League school, in the biggest city in the country, the biggest media market in the country.
Someone said he can't talk like that in his own country. Yeah, America's great. America's a great country because of that. It's a good thing America's not like that. You're the person who wants to turn America into a dog shit. You want to make America a big bowl of dog shit. You want that. You see those countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar. You see the countries like Iran and their social policies. You want to bring that to America. You want to bring their abortion policies to America. You want to bring their death penalty to America. You want to bring their policies to women and to America. You want to bring their policies on speech to America. Don't bring that to my country. Don't. You could be born in America and still not support American ideals. I would wager that many immigrants have more of an American ideal than you do. At least they work their ass off to get here, whether it's walking 50, 100, 200, 300 miles for 20, 30, 40 days. I don't care if you say, oh, they came across illegally, seeking asylum or whatever it is. You know, the person worked their ass off. You haven't done shit. You were born here. You like participation medals because you're weak. And that's the easy way for you to discredit other people and attack other people based on immigration status. Great job. You were born here. You did nothing at all to gain respect. You did nothing at all to deserve respect. You've never done that.
That absolutely undermines our negotiations. We're trying to get American hostages returned from Hamas. It undermines our authority, the way we want to project unity in the Arab world. When you have this guy lighting stuff up in this media market, you absolutely can give this guy the heave-ho. I don't know why they didn't do it earlier. You know, the other guy, the commie.
What the F have you done? I'm not acting like a privileged little baby boy whenever I talk about other people. I'm not acting like I deserve anything special because I was just born in America. Like you do. Like you do. As if you did shit.
He wins this election and everyone's like, wow, this guy's, you know, he's dialed into these bread and butter kitchen table issues. He goes on CNN and he says he's got a problem with capitalism. And then he flies to Africa for a week and a half. And the entire media is just hammering this guy for government-run grocery stores, for saying he was black. And he's out of town. And so it's
a pilot for 5 grocery stores in each borough in New York to test it. He says if it doesn't work, they'll stop. It's a pilot program. He's not seizing the means of production or anything. It's a pilot program. It might work, it might not work. Many areas that have their own grocery stores are red states with food deserts, by the way, red states. Also, saying he never said he's black. He filled out a college form like 8 years ago saying he's African American because he said he was born in Africa. But he's like, oh, I made a mistake there. It's not a big deal at all. Again, conservatives hyper-obsessing on race issues and identity politics.
Political malpractice. You're a fresh face and you just disappear to another country for a week?
He announced he's... For a week, dude? For a week? The fake outrage here. Imagine being such a beta bitch, bro. Imagine, bro. There's so much shit happening in the world. So much shit going on in the world. And you're mad about this? How easy is your life, bro? How easy is your life? Because I've been through a lot of shit. And in my times where I'm actually going through shit, I'm not thinking about bullshit like this. How easy is your life if you watch this program and think something is good that they say? Like, what are you guys doing?
And you're supposed to be mayor of this city? It's crazy. I would never let him do this.
Okay, wait, listen again to this whole tirade here.
Black, and he's out of town. And so,
like, listen to these arguments and listen to the tone of voice in which he says it.
For a week and a half.
A week and a half.
And the entire media is just hammering this guy for government-run grocery stores, for saying he was black, and he's out of town.
He's out of town.
So it's political malpractice. You're a fresh face and you just disappear to another country for a week and you're supposed to be mayor of this city? It's crazy. I would never let him do this trip.
Jessica, when did the reframing occur here by the Democrats?
Holy
it
shit.
sort of reminds me of, that house burglar.
He should have gone to Israel.
That the homeowner set up a trap for the burglar, and then he ends up suing them because he got hurt breaking into the house.
What?
This guy is suing the city for leading these anti-Semitic protests, breaking all the Columbia's rules, breaking New York City rules, and somehow he becomes the victim and the hero against all odds and against what I thought were the Democrat Party's principles.
Well, he's suing DHS. He's suing the government for $20 million for the false imprisonment, the treatment that he got. And a judge, to Jesse's point, where you say he obviously is a threat to the United States foreign policy, a judge thought otherwise, which is why he's out there and he's able to do an interview.
Because he said words the government didn't like. They said, hey, those words are illegal. You did a thought crime, and put him behind bars. That is so antithetical to America.
On CNN. To the point about Mondani going to another country, he's going to the place that he spent the first 7 years of his life, and he's celebrating the rest of his marriage. He's a newlywed, and he's doing that.
How dare him?
Whether I would have done that myself if I had just pulled off one of, one of the more interesting upsets in recent political memory. I'm not particularly sure, but what he made sure to do before he left was film another very slick, very good social media video that you're going to hear my detractors saying all the things that Jesse just said. And he pulls all of these tweets and posts up that says they're going to call me this. All these people say, go back to Africa. Well, you got your way. But sorry, guys, I'm going to be back. And then I'm going to keep campaigning, and then I'm going to become your mayor. In terms of...
Someone said try going to Mexico illegally. You're not going to get the same treatment. Yeah, because America's better than Mexico. Yeah, America's better. I know you think America's worse because you're a little... Like, America's better. We're better because we do things different. We don't put people in prison for speech. We don't send unidentified federal officers to your doorstep to check if you're hiding people. You're hiding illegals in your attic. We don't do that in America. We've never done that in America. That makes America good. That makes America great. But you're a bunch of pussies.
Mahmoud Khalil, he said in one of the interviews, you know, we could have communicated better. We could have built bridges with more people. That feels like the understatement of the century. And if he...
You saw me on Steven Crowder? No, I don't talk to gay guys.
Had led with that kind of rhetoric, we probably would be in a very different place. We all believe in the First Amendment. We believe in your right to peacefully protest. But the question is, as we go into this mayoral election, I think Mamdani should get this question posed to him in exactly this way. If the campus protests were warring in the same way that they were last spring, whose side would you have been on? Would you have made sure that those Jewish students could get to their dorms, to Chabad, to the library, to the cafeteria, anywhere that they want to go the same way?
Enforcing the law is weak. Bro, you sound like a hall monitor, bro, with a fedora. And suspenders. And squeaky boots. And a ball gag.
That any other student on that campus, especially one from a protected class, would have the right to. And for me, as a New Yorker and as a Jew, that's what I want to hear the answer to.
Yeah, because a slick video, Kennedy, doesn't excuse or eclipse by any means being anti-Semitic.
No, and it's a wonderful way to appeal to people who feel like they are entitled to free stuff. But, you know, what I really want Mamdani to be pressed on is what happens when your plans fail. You know, and you look at that woman from Kansas City, you assume that she's a mom, you assume she's trying to feed her family. And when you've got people who are butted up against empty shelves.
Do you have a problem with gay people? No, only Steven Crowder.
And dismal job prospects, they're not necessarily going to turn to socialism, because you don't have to talk about North Korea. You don't have to talk about the failed Soviet Union to learn when communism and socialism were deadly and failed people. You can go to the Midwest. I'm sure they had great intentions with the state-run grocery store, but that is exactly what follows when you have a statist view of the world, where the government provides everything. And they provide everything because they take everything from taxpayers whom they have demonized. So how is that woman in Kansas City who can't feed her family, how is she ever going to be part of the 1%? You know, she is going to be held down and oppressed by socialism if that continues to flourish.
How is she going to be a part of the 1%? What kind of world do you think we live in? Is she saying that this mother is not going to become a wealthy person because of Zohran Mamdani?
That woman in Kansas City who can't feed her family.
City subsidized Missouri supermarket.
How is she ever going to be part of the 1%? You know, she is going to be held down and oppressed by socialism if that continues to flourish in these cities. And, you know, I have 1%? To tell you, I was not impressed that he went to Africa, because the last time a big city politician went to Africa, Los Angeles burned to the ground.
Classic.
Well, New York is next, proverbially.
How does she have a worse hairline than I do, bro? How do you pull that off, bro? You gotta get that fixed, bro. I mean, at least I'm my man. You gotta chill out. That's a border crossing offense right there, bro. Rushing the passer. Right at the root cause.
To Africa, Los Angeles burned to the ground.
Classic, bro. Classic. Holy shit, that's so based. That's so freaking cool, bro. That's so freaking cool. Oh my god, I wish I was that cool. I wish I wasn't so... I wish I wasn't a gay liberal cock, dude. Oh my god. I love being a gay liberal cock, though. Alright, I'll take some phone calls. I'm bored, bro. I'm going to bed after this, but... You can call in. Call in, dude. Call in. Thank you for joining me. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any donations, you can give me a donation at Jolah Politics. Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. My phone lines are open again if you want to call into the phone lines. Jolah, you trying to look Muslim? I thought you didn't like appropriating other cultures. You just say I'm sexy, Dave. Dave, I know you want me. I know you want me, Dave. See, the thing is on typical go to insults, shaking my head. Shut up, pussy. Grifter, yeah, grifter. Top 1%. I'm broke right now, bro. Tariffs. Yeah, the tariffs are awesome. Is this person gonna call back in? I'm waiting for them.
Yo.
Hello?
Oh, yo, what's good? How you doing?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm doing fine, man.
Nice, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Sorry, I tried calling earlier, but we talked before, but I just want to have a second time debating. But I did my research, and I searched it up. ICE agents, they do have a right to wear masks in order to protect their families. I remember you were saying you were complaining about them wearing masks, but I searched it up. They literally can.
I'm saying they should not be wearing masks. I'm not saying they can or can't. I'm saying that it's un-American and they're lawless and they should have laws against doing that.
Yeah, but they need to protect their family because if you look at California where I live, they're throwing rocks at their vehicles. They're insulting police officers. They hate these people. So
do you think that local police should be wearing masks?
No.
Why?
I'm talking about federal agents.
Why not local police?
Because for the police, there's no goal right now by the government of like, going after a certain type of people.
Why not police though? Don't police help out with immigration? Don't police go after black and brown people? And don't they get protested as a result?
White people too. Don't forget about white. Whoa.
No, but I'm saying don't they get protested like BLM? Why would police not wear a mask if they can be targeted by BLM?
No, but if you look at ICE is different. Their goal is just deporting illegal immigrants, and people hate them. They want to kill them. They want to rip their heads off. So they wear masks to protect their family.
Should politicians be able to vote anonymously?
Sorry, what?
Should politicians vote anonymously?
No.
Why?
Their vote should be out. Well, I don't know, their vote should be out there.
Why?
I don't know, because we should know what they voted for.
Well, they could be in danger. They could be in danger if they vote on something and people are mad about it, right?
No. That's no. Politicians are different. They get security. They have the Capitol Hill police.
You don't think anyone gets security at all?
What?
You don't think anyone gets security other than politicians?
What do you mean?
I have a blink system. You could have a blink in your house. Didn't Democrats just get assassinated in Minnesota?
Sorry, what?
Didn't Democrats get assassinated in Minnesota?
I don't recall. When did that happen?
A few weeks ago, Democrats got assassinated in Minnesota by a Christian nationalist MAGA terrorist. Now they got assassinated, right?
How do we know he was Christian and MAGA?
Because you can see his manifesto, see his history, and hear him talk. And he had a list of abortion providers and pro-choice advocates. He wanted to kill all of them.
Also, I have a problem. Last time you said that the guy who was trying to assassinate, I think his name is Matthew, I forgot his name, but the guy who wanted to assassinate Trump was a Trump supporter. No, he wasn't. All he was a registered Republican.
I didn't say he was a Trump supporter. I said he was Nick Fuentes. I said he was a Nick Fuentes right-winger, all right, who wanted to just cause chaos. But in general, didn't 2 Democrats die in an assassination a few weeks ago?
I condemn that. If that's true, I condemn that.
Okay, but I just said politicians should have their votes anonymous then. If politicians can die based off what they vote for because they get targeted, and no ICE agents have been assassinated to my knowledge yet. So that, with that logic, politicians should be anonymous.
No, I think it's really different because, everybody knows, they know who, okay, listen. Everybody in America, they know who ICE agents are. But I guarantee you, if you ask
No, they don't.
random American, if you ask a random American from the streets, they could not name you 10 senators or 10 congressmen.
You're saying that people know ICE agents, but not U.S. congressmen or senators?
Have you seen videos of interviewers asking random Americans, "Can you name 5 politicians?" They literally can't.
Can they name? They can name ICE agents.
Well, they know who ICE are.
But politicians should be anonymous in their votes because but politicians should be anonymous in their votes. Democrats got assassinated because they're in danger. They want to protect their families. They should be anonymous.
No, I don't think so.
Why though? Why would you not want politicians to be anonymous?
Because we have to see what they voted for, what bill and what,
Okay, so why would that apply for voting records and bills, but not apply for the person that's knocking on my door with a gun? If it's a federal agent.
Hey, listen. Listen, they have the right to wear it.
Answer my question. Why would it matter to know voting records, to be transparent, to know who's voting? That's important, I agree. But also, the federal agent showing up at my door with a gun should also be identifiable, in my opinion. I think that sounds even worse. I'd rather have them vote anonymously than have federal agents show up without any identification.
Hey, well, this is what's great about America. We disagree. I think ICE agents have a right to wear masks.
I just destroyed your point, by the way. You have nothing to stand on at all. Yes, I did, because I showed you clearly why your point is so freaking stupid, because you think it's important to have no anonymity for politicians who are going to be voting on bills, but you don't know why it's bad for a federal agent to show up to your house with no identification. It's just so stupid, it's brain dead.
No, we just disagree.
No, you're just
I don't
stupid.
think
You're just stupid and wrong. You're dumb and wrong. You're anti-American. You're un-American. You don't give a shit about American freedoms at all. You want the federal government to be able to do whatever they want. That's just what you are. It's fine. You're authoritarian. You're just stupid. It's fine.
No, what do you mean?
You can be
I'm not
stupid.
for dictators. I'm not for dictators.
You are for a dictatorship state because if you're okay with federal agents not being identified, because you want to be able to identify people.
They have a right to do it. It's our law. If you have a problem with our law, then tell your fucking senators.
I say I do have a problem with it. They should not be doing that. And you disagree that you think they should be masking.
Well, it's the law. You can't do anything about the law. And
No. You made an argument without the law. You just made an argument that it's a good thing they mask.
No, they have the right to wear a mask.
You said it's a good thing they mask. You said it's good. You said it's good. You said it's good. You said it's good. We're not talking about laws. We're talking about if it's good or bad.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good because we have to protect our families.
Okay, and then politicians should be anonymous too, and so should local police. So should every military personnel. So should National Guard. So should everybody. They should all be able to be anonymous. Everyone should be anonymous. We should have no relationship between our communities and law enforcement. They should be anonymous. They should just come into our communities. If they want to arrest you, they should be able to put a black bag over your head and put you in a van. Yeah, sure, awesome.
What if the politicians don't want to be anonymous? What if they decide I don't want to?
It's just dangerous to have like arrest warrants and stuff. The cops should be able to detain you just if they want to. Because I mean, if you know they're looking for a warrant, they can just people are gonna go after the cops. It's just awesome.
I have a question. Are you a Bernie Sanders guy or like a regular Democrat guy?
I don't give a shit at all. I just don't want federal agents in my community with masking on.
Okay, can we agree that Ronald Reagan was a pretty good president?
Ronald Reagan was pro-immigration and pro-amnesty. Donald Trump's supporters think Ronald Reagan was a liberal cuck.
Hey, I'm pro-immigration too, bro.
Cool.
Yeah, immigrants create a lot of jobs and they create they create a lot of stuff. What I'm against is illegal immigration. That's what I'm against.
No, you don't care about illegal immigration.
What do you mean?
Because ICE is mostly picking on people who are here legally. They're taking away legal statuses and work permits and student visas.
Oh, I did my research. I did my research. The only I'm going to do quotations. Legal people they're taking are babies who should go to their mothers. That's different.
You just don't know what you're talking about. You just have no idea what you're talking about. You don't do any research on anything because there's people right now. So like what they're doing right now, they're camping outside a courtroom. So let's say you're doing the legal process to seek asylum in America. You're doing all your check-ins with ICE. ICE is camping out at the courtrooms when people are having their immigration hearings and arresting people. They are dissuading people from doing the legal process because people are scared to do it because ICE is using them as traps rather than an actual legal process. You just don't know what you're talking about. I'd rather talk to someone who's up to date on the news.
I don't know what's your problem. But
because I'm sick of people like you saying extremely dumb things and not thinking it through. Just like federal agents in my community with masks on. I don't know. I don't know many conservatives who are okay with that. But people like you will just say that shit without even thinking about the repercussions, without even thinking about Nazi Germany and freaking Mao and Russia, and just thinking about. I'll clap for you. I'm just saying it gets annoying after a certain amount of time because we're gonna be in a situation.
You think I'm for fascism? No, I'm for democracy.
You don't know you are for fascism. You don't know you're for it, but you are advocating for policies that are fascistic.
No,
that
you're
can
wrong.
bypass laws.
No, I'm for free speech. I'm for people to spread their ideas and to have conversation. That proves to you I'm not a fascist. I don't believe in fascism.
You are dumb. Therefore, you are advocating for policies that are pro-fascism. Because you want federal agents to have masks on in our communities.
Last time I checked, Trump went through the.
That is a pro-fascism argument.
Last time I checked, Trump left 2020. He left the office in 2020. Through the process.
You don't. You're not even responding to my points anymore. All right, I gotta talk to someone else. Nice. Release the files. I don't know. I really don't know many people who are okay with just like random feds in the community doing whatever they want. It is rather how do I manage my sound devices on here? Manage sound devices. Come on, bro. Sound control panel. Recording, microphone, Yeti. Hello? That's working. Properties. Levels. Okay, that's normal. That's normal. Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hey. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Pretty good. I was just watching your video.
Nice. What's up?
On the last caller. Well, you were talking about masks.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this? Let's unmask the ICE agents, have them identified. But if somebody doxes them or threatens their families, it's a minimum mandatory of 20 years for doxing. And if they threaten their families or cause harm to them, 30 years minimum mandatory in a federal prison. How would that be a compromise you'd be willing to make?
I don't think anyone disagrees with that at all. I mean, I think that's already laws, right?
Like I've been on, I'm a right-leaning. I wouldn't say I'm conservative. I'm an independent, but I would lean more to the right. I don't think that Donald Trump is a dictator, like your headline says on your channel at all, because like a lot of people will say that he's like a fascist Nazi dictator. Well, and then I ask these people, so Donald Trump is helping Israel a little more than you're liking. Donald Trump has Jewish grandchildren. Hitler took away guns from the people, except for the Nazi Party members. That'd be like Donald Trump saying everybody cannot have firearms except for Republican conservatives.
Well, I would say that when they say he's like Hitler, I can say he's like Mussolini or Mao or Putin. I could say he's just like a dictator and authoritarian.
They all took guns as well.
But you know how like the gun.
Elected, so Donald Trump was elected by the people, was he not?
Did you ever hear the thing about gun laws where it's like when black people start using guns, then they pass gun regulations?
What do you mean, like Chicago, where they have like a huge high murder rate?
No,
gangs?
the whole thing was that like when black people start arming themselves, like the Black Panthers, for example, then everyone was pro-gun legislation. They were very anti.
I'm totally cool with the Black Panthers.
But I'm just saying
guns.
there is some selective outrage when it comes to who they would take guns away. Like Trump is okay with taking guns. He passed red flag laws, and he said he likes red flag laws because you could take guns away with no due process. He loved it for that reason.
Where did Trump pass any red flag laws? Those are
his first term.
Those are state laws, sir. They're not federal laws.
His first term, he passed the he passed a memo
The
to
only
push
thing that he
for
did
red
that was
flag laws
anti-gun,
for the
to my
the bump
knowledge,
stock,
what's that?
the bump stocks ban.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I
Yeah,
was
but
about
he
to agree with
pushed
you on that.
for, as president, he
But now he's
pressured Republicans to
reversing.
do red flag laws as president. The first term, he
No,
loved
but
them.
because I live in a state where I live in Arizona. There's no red flag laws. You go to Nevada, there's red flag laws. You go to California, there's red flag laws. You go to Oklahoma, I don't believe there's red flag laws. It's a state by state issue. Now, I'm all for 10th Amendment. Okay, if California wants to ban assault rifles, that's okay. I guess it's just like Arizona.
Think about not just guns, though. Like, think about the other rights that Trump's taking away from groups he doesn't like. So, like that Mahmoud Khalil person that he jailed for his opinion on Israel. That one woman from Tufts University that
like
he jailed.
I said, I'm not
so
a big
Trump is already
white...
picking. No, but I'm telling you, when you said like Hitler took the guns away, Trump is choosing demographics he doesn't like in America. So mostly Arab, mostly Muslim, mostly pro-Palestine, to take their freedom of speech away. Like, he's going for them first. So he is doing things that are choosing rights that he believes certain people should not have anymore as a result of their political beliefs. He is doing that, just not with guns yet. But I don't think he'd be very far off from doing that with DOJ and everything.
Didn't FEMA neglect help from Florida hurricane victims that had Trump signed?
That was fully debunked. That was fully debunked. The big issue, actually, the main issue they had was Trump supporters would refuse help because Trump told them that FEMA was not coming and FEMA could not be trusted and FEMA had no money for them, and the illegals took all the FEMA money. So the issue with FEMA was, you could look at their actual, because FEMA made a response page when this happened. Trump supporters said no to the funding from FEMA and no to the help because they thought they were going to come take their houses and come and, I don't know, take their kids and make them trans or some shit. So yeah, that was debunked. There was like one investigation. I think there was like one person who might have done something, like they were uncomfortable with going to a Trump house, but they were fired like instantly.
Right. When in history has a dictator been removed by the people under, like, let's say, like an impeachment process? The Democrats have been trying to call for impeachment like all the time. So how can you impeach a dictator? If you guys call him a dictator, how was he elected? Because like a lot of people say, oh, Hitler was elected. No, Hitler was not elected. Hitler was appointed by Chancellor von Hindenburg. He was elected. Von Hindenburg was elected back in, like, I don't know when it was, but it was pre-30s. And he stepped down and he took Hitler and said, you're the next chancellor. Hitler was never elected. Look that up. He was never elected by the people of Germany. So he was never elected. And, you know, obviously we know he wasn't impeached. He was removed by his own hand by, you know, committing suicide. But I just want to clarify is, how can you guys say that a man is a dictator if he can be impeached, because he was impeached twice by the House of Representatives, right? Not the Senate.
We're not saying he is a dictator yet. We're saying he would be a dictator, and we have many examples of like Trump trying to do a coup on the Capitol. You could say it was a light coup or whatever, but he tried to overturn the election through illegal means as well in 2020. Like Hitler tried doing a coup 10 years before he came to power, and eventually he came to power 10 years after destabilizing the Germany.
Yeah, that was called the
German court systems. Yeah, so like
Further.
Trump has had his moment where I would say January 6th was successful. The fact he won the presidency again shows and he still denies that election being true in any possible way. He says it's completely fake. And usually people that do that have only been dictator types. He's not a dictator yet, but he wants to be. And if liberals were not in the picture right now, he would be a dictator. The Republican Party says he has a mandate from God, and he's essentially a messiah that God saved on the day he almost got assassinated. And it's like, well, God apparently chose that firefighter to get shot in the head. That's pretty messed up. But they view this person as having a divine mandate, which is never good when a president says, I was sent by God to save you. It's never ended up good.
Oh, you mean like when he said, you know, he was saved by that assassinator in Pennsylvania because, like, yeah, that I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't like hearing that from a leader
when
at
you
all.
were talking about I heard you were talking about the last gentleman earlier saying about some. I didn't hear about it. I looked it up about some guy tried to off some politicians that were left leaning in
he was successful.
Michigan or
2 of them
Minnesota?
died. So he was able to shoot 4.
Okay.
He broke into their homes, dressed up as a cop with a fake mask on, killed 2 of them, and the other 2 Democrats were in critical condition and survived with like 9 gunshots. But he did assassinate the former leader of the Minnesota House Democratic Congress. Oh, well, state congresswoman there.
Okay. The guy, what was the guy's name that shot that Trump in Pennsylvania? Crooks?
Yeah.
Matthew Crooks? Okay. If people say he was. Do you believe he's a Republican?
I think he was a radical. So like there's a section of the internet where it's like not really, he might have been further right to Trump. He might have been like a person who wants a revolution, who wants violence and chaos.
How come he donated to Act Blue then? Why would a far right-wing person that's far right donate to a Democratic political donation PAC called Act Blue? Because he did.
Yeah, I don't know, but every consistent testimony from his classmates,
and yeah, he was a registered Republican.
Yeah,
but
he was a Republican, and his classmates said he was conservative, and his search history is conservative.
Let me finish. A lot of people on the left and right will go ahead and change their political affiliation for a primary vote, just to kind of like throw a monkey in the wrench, and that's what I believe he did. But let's go back a little bit. You won't admit that the left has done other things like that? Like, let's talk about Steve Scalise. They tried to assassinate him at that baseball game.
Yeah,
and that
that's
guy was
definitely
a
no, yeah, that is bad, obviously. Okay, but when I say these, like on the right wing right now, the speak you hear from them is about retribution and violence. And right now, the successful assassinations from a few weeks ago were of Democratic lawmakers, and no one even talked about it. And the person did it. He's a Christian nationalist who had a list of he had a list of pro-choice advocates and a list of abortion providers. He had a list of like 70 or 80 people, I believe, that he was going to go kill one by one by one. And he was, he's definitely was off his rocker, crazy. So like, that's really bad. The FSU shooter, the Florida State University shooter, was also a Trump-inspired shooter as well. We barely got any talk in the media about that. It's just like there is violence that happens from the left and the right, but if you look at the data that we have, the criminal data of like political violence, 70% is from the right wing, around 5% is left wing, and then in the middle it's like jihadists and other like terrorist activities in the middle there. So it is like a mostly right wing who want to assassinate people.
Yeah, I mean there was that guy in a few months ago in Palm Springs. He was a leftist that was just like you were saying. That guy was anti-abortion. Well, this other guy was so pro-abortion. He went and bombed a facility that was for embryos. But I'm saying they both don't forget Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn. They bombed the Senate building in 1984.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
though. They
literally
bombed the Senate building.
The president right now is talking from the Oval Office with conspiracy theories and showing videos of Barack Obama getting arrested, saying we need retribution to cover up for his Epstein scandal. And advocating for aggressive tactics to sue people and extort them to give him huge settlements, and talking about how Democrats need to be hated and this country cannot survive with liberals in it, and the immigrants are poisoning the blood of America and all this crazy stuff. And the violent rhetoric there you can say there's rhetoric on the left in some sense, but if you make a comparison there, it's really hard to even understand where that comes from. I mean, the left, I wish they were more aggressive in some types of messaging, but like when Trump talks like this, we know that political violence went up.
You think Trump had anything to do with the Epstein thing?
Yeah, I was just gonna say really quick, if you can look up the numbers at some point, but there's a spike of political violence when Trump got into the political scene in 2015, 2016. There's like the synagogue shootings, there's a shooting in Buffalo, there's a few other ones that were inspired by right wingers, and that's not to say every right winger has a role in that, but we have to be able to dissect that rhetoric anywhere it comes, even if it's from the far left.
When was the shooting at the synagogue?
The synagogue was like 2017 or 2018. The Buffalo was like 2019, I think, or 2020, one of those years. It was a Tree of Life
that
synagogue.
Could be right, because if it was like just recently after October 7th last year, I would say that's less.
But that'd be another. There was the Israel embassy attack that happened. as well. So like political violence is bad in all its ways, but like when these Democrats got assassinated, sitting Republican senators, like U.S. senators like Mike Lee, spread a conspiracy theory that this guy was sent by Tim Walz to kill his friends. For like crazy shit, insane shit. The Republicans are sharing crazy shit. I have not seen Democrats share anything nearly as close to that. But Democrats are now posting about Epstein 24/7. Like, and Democrats have not stopped talking about Epstein. But yeah, when it comes to Epstein, my big thing is, so Trump said initially there is no Epstein files at all. Then he said, well, there are Epstein files, but Barack Obama made it and, Biden made it. Then he says, right, essentially, if there is something in Epstein files, I'm not in it. Because if I was in it, then Obama and Biden would have used it against me. But those things don't make sense because they exist. But it's
they
like,
would have brought that against.
yeah,
so
but if but here's the thing
did.
though, what if they didn't though? Because Democrats and Biden are pathetically weak and might not do that. So like, if Trump found his name in the files, why would Biden, why would Obama, whatever, why would they go through the trouble of fabricating evidence to put Trump in it if they were not going to use it? If Trump's in that file, he's in the file. You know what I mean? So he was best friends with Epstein. We don't know the level of criminality. I'm sure he did illegal things with Epstein. He had underage girls, and like by underage I mean like in casinos, guaranteed, like that was certified. They were like 18-year-olds in a casino. That's 21 and up. So that's not showing like pedophilia, obviously. But there are other instances of beauty pageants and like parties with young girls and models with only him and Epstein there. And it's not like Clinton's. Like Clinton's bumped into Epstein at fundraisers, but Trump and that could still be bad, by the way. I'm not discounting that. But Trump and Epstein were besties. They did shit together all the time. And Trump spoke very highly of Epstein. He loved Epstein. And it's hard for me to believe with the way Trump is like engaged with women that he has not done anything weird with Epstein. I don't know how far it is, but yeah.
Well, he kicked him off all of his properties at one point.
Eventually, after 15 years of friendship.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not. I would have to side definitely 100% with Donald Trump over like what Biden did on the border, on especially the vaccine mandate and all that stuff. Okay, if I have to choose a side, I'm kind of like I said, a right-leaning independent. I definitely would choose Donald Trump. I definitely voted for him. I did not vote for him in his first primary before Hillary election. I voted for Ron DeSantis. I like Ron DeSantis, but I'm a big Second Amendment guy, and anybody that votes away my Second Amendment, I usually vote against them. That's kind of the thing. I didn't like the fact that I lost a couple jobs refusing to take the vaccination. I thought that was kind of like Hitler-esque. If you want my opinion on that, there was a lot of people I debate on the internet that were up in like the Portland, Seattle area that said that I should be put in some sort of a concentration camp for unvaccinated. And I'm like, well, if you're vaccinated and I'm not, and the vaccination works, then what do you have to worry about? That all that never really made sense to me. The mask thing, I don't know. I was kind of on the fence with it. I wore a mask all the time. I ended up getting COVID. I never got vaccinated. I got the third strain. It made me like sick for a week. I had a fever. I never got vaccinated, but I did wear the mask all the time because I had no elderly mother I was taking care of, and I didn't want anything to happen to her. She's living in California now, and she lives in a nursing home, and she was like, she's been boosted all the way up, recent, all that stuff like that. As far as like, does the vaccine kill you? No, it does not. It didn't kill my mom. She's 83 years old. So, I'm kind of like on the fence with all this weird stuff that's going on. Do you think Vladimir Putin's a dictator?
Yeah, he's one of the biggest dictators on the planet.
Because you do realize in 3 more years, I think 3 or 4 more years, he has to step down. He did annex their Russian constitution. To where he extended his presidency by changing the constitution, but he initially has to step down. We'll see if he does. If he doesn't, then yeah, I'll agree with you and say he's a dictator.
No, Putin is a dictator for sure. Like Putin is 100% a dictator. People vote with guns to their heads in Russia. He gets 90% of the vote, and people hate him, but they will get shot if they don't support him.
Well, wait a minute. How many political parties are there in Russia? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, Putin gets 90% of the vote every party.
There's 5.
Or every year.
There's 5 political parties. There's 5 let's see. There's in our democracy, we have the Green Party, left-leaning, the Libertarian, right-leaning, Democrat, Republican, and Independent. We have 5 as well. But Russia has 5 too.
You know, Putin kills his political opponents, right? Like he kills them, he poisons them,
no,
and
yeah,
throws them out of windows. Like he's
I'm
a
not going to
dictator.
disagree with you on that.
But people, if you
like
vote in Russia, there's a gun to your head too. Like if you say anything against Putin, you could even say, you know what? I don't know what I think about Putin in Ukraine. I don't know what I think about that. They will put you in a cage like instantly. They have agents behind the bush. I mean, you can look up videos of it.
Let me ask you this: why do you think Putin invaded Ukraine?
He wants more land acquisition. The economy was struggling after COVID and during the inflation crisis. He wanted a wartime economy. He's wanted Ukraine forever. It's a nationalist message. He wants to get Ukraine back to become Russia. He views Ukraine as a fake country that is actually Russia. And he views Ukraine as another battlefront where he wants to control countries like Belarus, and he wants to control countries...
He already controls Belarus.
Yeah, but he wants to control them. He wants to control Ukraine. He wants to control as many countries as possible. He installed a couple leaders, or he tried to install leaders in like Romania, and Hungary. He's close with Hungary, a few different countries. But yeah, it's for all bad reasons.
Then why is Hungary actually giving arms to Ukraine?
It's complicated. So like, I'm not saying they are completely captured, but they peddle influence in these countries and try to use
that guy. You want to talk about border security? That I forgot what his name is. That Hungarian president and the people of Poland too. Those guys are really going really hard right on immigration. Now they're not. You know, they're dealing with like all the refugees from Syria and all that. But back to the Ukraine thing. You don't think that Putin? I'm not a pro Putin guy. I got a friend of mine. He's MAGA, and he's a real big pro-Putin guy. I'm not, okay? I'm on the fence of the dictatorship we were talking about, but I can't tell you. I know a fair amount of history. I can tell you this: that when I don't know how old you are, but I know you're younger than me because I see your face. When do you remember when the famous saying that Ronald Reagan said to Gorbachev, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Yeah.
Meaning the East-West Germany. Okay. When that happened, and they did, that's right around then is when Ukraine gave up their nukes. And they were promised, this is way before Putin, this is when Putin was in the KGB.
Yeah, they were promised sovereignty.
They promised Russia we would not go an inch to the east.
No, I can tell you about that if you want.
We won't invade or anything like that.
So Gorbachev debunked that. Gorbachev debunked that.
But then in 1999, we pulled Poland into NATO, and we put ballistics that are 5 to 10
there was
minutes
a
away
new
from
agreement in
Moscow.
1999. There was a new agreement with NATO and Russia. So like Gorbachev has talked about this. That conversation was about reunifying Germany, and that's it. So when they said no inch east, that was at that time. But years later, it was inevitable that countries were going to join NATO. So Russia made an agreement with NATO at the time, saying essentially the new NATO states cannot have nukes in them. The only thing is you can have, NATO countries that border Russia.
I never said nukes. I said ballistics.
I'm just saying, no, I'm saying Russia was able to talk to NATO and say, we know you're going to be moving into territories close to us, but let's do it by these terms. Let's follow these rules to do it. So the idea that like Russia was guaranteed we were never going to move east is not true at all. And that was a quote said. It was never an official. If you have any contract, right? If especially foreign policy, and you're talking with like America and a bunch of different countries that want to reinforce a deal or something. An offhanded comment by someone's not going to mean anything. If you really mean something and have it guaranteed, that'll be on paper. And it never was on paper. It was an offhanded comment. And the only things we have on paper are the Budapest Memorandum, which is the thing that gave Ukraine like a sovereignty. And then we have the NATO agreement, like 1999, where they said NATO's going to expand. So like up to that point, like Russia played along and recognized NATO expanding. Now Putin went away from that path because Putin was very anti-West. He did not want to integrate. And he created his own like power structure there. But the idea that we said NATO was never going to move, and that's why Putin invaded, it just doesn't make sense. And we already had so many NATO countries on Russia's border when they invaded Ukraine again.
I think that the reason Putin invaded Ukraine was we were about to pull them into NATO. Russia.
I wish that were true.
They totally. The Minsk I and Minsk II agreements, Russia totally fucked them over on that.
Yeah, every agreement Russia's done that. Russia's never held to anything.
It was a double fuck over.
No, but Russia's never held to anything. Russia has broken like 15 ceasefires and treaties in the past like 5 years alone, let alone the last 20 years.
Well,
so it's hard
Clinton wanted to pull Russia into NATO, but then the NATO, all the NATO members said, no, the whole reason we have NATO is to be anti-Russia. I'm just saying that
they can't be trusted. I mean, we know that.
I trust Russia a hell of a lot more than I trust China. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I don't trust. I really don't. I think China's much more dangerous, and Russia is just the loud one. And China has us falling apart. Russia's helping. They're allying in destroying America, and supporting Trump's part of that. Helping, Trump helps destroy America, and that's why Russia wanted him to win.
Like, how is Trump Russia? How is Trump Putin's puppet or buddy? If now he tried to bring peace, and basically Putin just flipped them the finger. And look, let's be honest. The thing I don't like about Donald Trump is he's a loudmouth and he's a very egotistical guy. But you know what? Sometimes that can. I know obviously you hate Trump. My dad had
I don't hate Trump. I care about actual things, and Trump hates the things I care about. I don't give a shit about Trump. He's a pathetic piece of shit. Like he's nothing to me. But he is a dangerous thing.
I don't think he's a dangerous man like you think he's a dangerous man.
He cut healthcare from 17 million Americans and lied to them about doing it. He's cutting childcare. He's cutting child nutrition programs.
If you're able-bodied.
I work in policy. I work in policy. Every time a state does this, Arkansas did this. The people that lose healthcare are able-bodied people because the bureaucracy and red tape and paper they have to fill out is so long and extensive, and they understaff the offices that do it. The point of this program is people fall off the program and fail, and that's how you save money is able-bodied people, able-bodied Americans losing their healthcare. I promise you, what they just said about that is propaganda to pay for wealthy tax cuts. I promise you with every bone in my body, and you can call in another time, we can go into this deeper, but I promise you that's not true at all. That's why there's 300 rural hospitals that are about to close down because they're going to be losing so many people who are on Medicaid.
Well, I'm on Obamacare and nothing's happened to me, but I'm not
yet. It doesn't kick in until 2026. 2026 it kicks in. If you're on Medicaid at all, you're going to see.
I'm on the exchange. I'm on the.
Yeah, that's different.
I actually pay out.
Your premiums are going to go up. I forget why. Okay, your premiums are going to go up. I forget why though. I'll update you on that later. I forget why. Something changed in the bill, but I forget. The subsidies or something. The subsidies are lower now, so the premiums might go up double. We'll see. If that change, definitely call me again if that changes and let me know in the next 2 years.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I do know a lot of these laws that are passed in Congress. They do have stalemates to where they don't kick in until after their elections and stuff. I get that. That's why I'm all for. Like the big beautiful bill. I don't like big beautiful bill. I don't like it when any politicians, left or right, conglomerate all these bills because what they do is, like, for instance, the big beautiful bill. You know what I think? What I think it's going to do is it's going to turn Nevada back into a blue state because when it went back to the Senate, they redraft it to where they're like, this is how Congress works. When it goes back to the Senate, the Democrats were like, hey, let's put a poison pill in here. So we're going to have it to where on certain taxable on gambling. So now that's going to piss off Las Vegas. It's also going to piss off New Jersey, but we don't have to worry about Atlantic City, New Jersey, because they're already blue. But we're talking about a swing state, Nevada. So it's a poison pill that's in there to where it's going to piss off a lot of casinos. They have a lot of money, a lot of pull, a lot of political power in there. And it's going to turn that back into a swing state on the blue side because Democrats, they went and they threw a poison pill in that bill.
No, but Democrats didn't do that, though. Like, Democrats had no input on just, okay, before I go to another caller, I just want to say one thing, though, to consider about the Medicaid cuts. If what they're saying about the Medicaid cuts is true, that it's able-bodied people, that they're going to be able to stay on it, and they're just going to get all the waste and fraud out. One point is that the waste and fraud is on the provider side and on the people who bill the Medicaid. It's going to be corporations. It's not ever going to be the people doing it. There's some fraud, obviously. There's fraud in everything, but it's extremely low. You would barely cut any money if you went after people doing fraud. But the main thing is, too, if they were honest about this, I don't think they would have waited for the Medicaid cuts to come into effect until after the midterms. There is a key reason why they waited to do the Medicaid cuts, and they said it's going to happen after the midterms in 2026. because they know it's going to be very unpopular. They know once it rolls out, it's going to be screwing people over left and right. The same with the Obamacare premiums going up. I'll just be wary about that because we don't want to give political points to politicians who are being super conniving, right, and just delaying bad things so they can win their next election. So yeah, just one thing to look out for, like when these policies actually take effect.
Yep.
And like, why is the no tax on tips? And, why are they limited, right? Why are the tax cuts for the wealthy permanent, but the no taxes on tips or overtime are permanent? Or no, sorry, those are limited 2 years, but the taxes on the rich are permanent. Yeah.
I don't think that. I think they're still paying a fair amount of tax. They actually increased it than it was previously.
Well, our taxes are going up with the tariffs, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. Well, I'll call back. I'm gonna actually bookmark you on YouTube, and I look forward to debating you more.
Yeah, I appreciate the comment. I hope you have a good discussion, and I hope you have a good night. All right, have a good one. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys watching. I am very grateful setting up my computer randomly in the hotel. I did not think I was gonna get I did not know how the stream was gonna go, but I do appreciate you guys watching regardless. I have my Yeti set up. I have my portable monitors. I logged my entire desktop, my old one. I have an old desktop that has like a 980 in it from a few years ago with like a Intel Core 6700K, so it's still decent enough. Still working, but yeah, I appreciate you. Tom's trying to debate me. Did Tom message me? I actually kind of like having a normal desk and a normal phone. I can't go on Discord. I'm not logged into Discord. I don't see any message from Tom anywhere. Regardless. I don't know if there's something I can look at here. Alright, this is gonna drop. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys watching again. You're gonna have him call in. I don't know what phone number he is. I don't know what phone number he is. I would like to use Discord if he does that, but I don't know if I have Discord on this computer. But yeah, Jolah Politics, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Coffee. Maybe using hi Corey. Hi Cam. Hi everyone. Yeah, do research yourself, but make sure you don't do research by finding another propagandist, like primary sources. We should do that. I have to go through with my language with sources and everything too. What is Tom's number? I need to know to answer it, or have Tom text me that it's him. Or I don't know who it is. Wait, can I log in with the Discord app? Tell Tom to message me on Discord. God bless me. Okay, how do I... Nice. Can you work? I'm gonna lose viewers, dude. I don't care. If you guys want to leave, you can leave. I'm trying to do something. I'm almost done with the stream anyway. Okay, I think I'm logged in on Discord. Tell Tom to message me on Discord. Okay, if Tom is waiting for something, tell Tom to message me on Discord. Okay. How's AOC doing? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is back in office. All right, chat. What's happening in the chat right now? The viewership is definitely dropping because everyone has a low attention span on YouTube Shorts. Rolling via executive order. Trump isn't a dictator. He's not really a good president either. Neither was Biden. They all suck. Wow, great take. Really appreciate that. Oh, wait. I forgot about that. Hello, I forgot I had permissions on your server. My bad. I could have just joined you.
Hey, yeah, you could have hopped on.
Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
All right. Yeah, I'm going all right. I'm in a hotel. I just want to make sure I'm not on my webcam mic, but all looks good.
Okay. How's streaming been?
It's been pretty good. I've been doing a lot on TikTok recently too, so I've been trying to make sure I get like some cross contamination on YouTube and TikTok to make sure I get a base on both. Yeah, I was actually talking to that one person that does the On F America tour about doing something with that. But Z. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet. I haven't responded yet. I have a couple reservations. But I'm considering it. But how are you?
What's your issues with On F America?
I just don't know much about what they actually do or about like what the goal of it is. Or I don't know. I think the name is super cringy. I think the name and branding is extremely cringy. And that's probably a big part of the turn off.
Do you think there's some issues with the name for sure? I think even like just having cuss words in your name probably makes it harder for algorithms and crap like that.
Yeah, it has edgy teen all over it too.
Yeah, well, I think I think that was kind of the idea. It was supposed to be like a way for them to make money was through like TikTok videos and stuff like that going viral, and they're going to make sure that they go viral by going and like finding people like Charlie Kirk when he's out in public doing public debates, and then they show up and debate him or counter signal him and then do their own debates as well. And so the whole idea is to like show up to where there's a bunch of Republicans, have a bunch of TikTokers and content creators walk up to those people and debate them and make a bunch of content out of it. So
yeah, and I like that idea, and I hate the fallout about the dean stuff. And they're young kids dealing with extreme internet fame, talking about politics. So I think there's some leniency to have there, but also like Destiny's the biggest creator right now on the On F America tour thing, and that's a hard brand to tie yourself to, just for like real life stuff as well. And the On F America tour, it's a cringe name for actual real life professional stuff. So just considerations for the brand, and if they have like a robust idea of like what they do and how they're gonna do it and how I'd be able to participate, I think I'd be open to it for sure, because I like collaboration. But yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know Mercedes, who's with them as well, and yeah, a bunch of other people over there. I've talked to Z a bunch as well, so they're good people. But it's fairly like casual. Like a lot of it's just very, I would say, very casually done.
So you'd recommend it, or?
I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Yeah.
Tough. I mean, the TPUSA thing, the reason TPUSA is effective is because it's very covert in its messaging. Turning Point USA is a very clean name, very catchy. They're relentless. They have a very good pipeline to get on the campuses with the First Amendment, and making sure that campuses uphold that part of the bargain, and also understanding how students need to start the organizations within the campuses themselves. And I think the On F America tour, that might not be the right outlet for it, but some organization needs to do that on the left, to do what Charlie's doing. But I don't think there's any willpower or agreement or just strategy available or funding for people who would be able to do it. Like I'm pretty experienced with that kind of stuff, but it would be like very hard, obviously. And Charlie Kirk has a bunch of oil barons to fund him, but yeah, we don't have oil barons to fund that.
Yeah, right. That is generally their idea, is that they're trying to use, they're trying to like counter signal them and like get young college kids to look to the left. And like I said, the idea in using content creators to do this is to make sure that there's always funding there, so that like, yeah, as videos go viral and more communities donate and crap like that, they're able to continue regenerating money. And so even just putting big names in their titles like Charlie Kirk, excuse me, makes it to where they're more likely to continue regenerating that money and able to do it over and over. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Vandred in my chat said you had something to talk about or debate about.
No, not really. All I said is that I the last time, I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Vandred, you're a dirty liar. Vandred, you're in timed out.
Well, he's not lying. All I did is I just pulled up the tweet from the other day, from where you replied to my tweet, and I just said I disagreed with you there. So he was probably assuming that I wanted to debate you on that. I don't think he's lying.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I've been trying to contact I did one show with Pisco one night a few weeks ago, and then Pisco was terrible at answering messages, and I've been talking. I talked to Hutch, and I've been talking with a little bit with the Live and Learn guys. I talked to Econoboy. I haven't talked to Josiah yet. I'll probably go in there eventually.
You remember the last time that you and me were supposed to talk to Josiah and Hutch? Yeah, but all of them were just horrific at answering messages. So eventually, I just gave up on it. I got annoyed and just couldn't.
Everyone has ADHD in this space, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I guess. Well, Hutch is on Vyvanse now, so
Me too. I love
Vyvanse a little
Vyvanse.
bit better. I'm on Adderall, so
Hell yeah.
it's made a huge difference for me.
No, I saw you have that big talk with Dean and everything, and the way he talks to people is infuriating. And the dad thing where you called one it's called CPS on the dad is
Yep. They're all very cringy, and I can't stand it. I and I like all of the Live and Learn guys, but I will say that I'm probably a lot more aligned with Hutch on a lot of the issues that they're fighting over. So,
well, right now I'm aligned with Hutch with all the AOC attack that's happening, and I'm very pragmatic, and I'm definitely to the left of Hutch, but I just can't see too much of the Kyle Kulinski left. And I think Pisco and Econoboy cross over there. And isn't Econoboy a socialist now? I'm not sure, but yeah, I've definitely been siding with Hutch a lot in the past few weeks on the Palestine conversation, because that's a really tough one that progressives are unwilling to be pragmatic on.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's more so about the way that AOC initially came out. They were she obviously branded herself as somebody who was very different in the beginning, and so a lot of them were voting for that person, that fiery person, that person who was always going to be kind of a firecracker and stir shit up. And now they see her as somebody who's more so going with the flow and being a lot more pragmatic, and I don't think they like that. I don't think that that's what they voted for. So to an extent, I can understand why her base would be a bit upset, but also that I like that she's being more pragmatic. I like that she's actually learning and becoming smarter about the way that she does things. And so, yeah, I'm happy about it, but that's because I'm a fucking shill for the, what do you call it? I keep wanting to say the administration, but that's not the right term. The
Mossad.
Yes, Mossad. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, a shill for Mossad.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know why. I saw the Anthony Fantano. Do you know him, the music reviewer?
Yeah.
That post about AOC becoming the new John Fetterman is literally unhinged. That is actually questioning sanity type insane.
That is fucking stupid. Yes, I can't stand it, Fantano. I think he's stupid. I'm always annoyed with him every time he talks about politics. He's very frustrating to listen to, but he is one of those cringe soy lefties, and that is one of the things that over on TikTok when I first got over there. I don't know how much you saw of the drama that I was getting into with all of these people, but
these people
over there.
That's a microaggression.
Yeah, I'm talking about black people. The every time I go over there, there's a lot of people who are just they're just very, very like soy. They're very quick to just kind of get outraged over the smallest things. They're very picky and gonna like complain about every little thing. So like one thing that do you know who Dan Malik is?
Was he on with you?
No, he wasn't on with me, but him and I have had like a number of DMs back and forth, and
Okay.
every time he fucking DMs me, he's like, "Have you said the R word again on stream?" Like every fucking time he says, "Have you said the R word lately?" Like they're always like very, very like freaking out about it, which I haven't. I don't say it, but they still like they ask every little fucking they ask every time they see me. And then they even have a ton of people who are like mods for Parker and Dean who literally just go around making shit up about people. And they've been like going around telling everybody that I call black people the N-word with the hard R. And they've just been repeating this over and over and over. Or that like I like advocate for adults to like engage in pedophilic actions and shit. Like they're just nonstop, like just repeating bullshit. And this is just who they are. It's like as soon as they find somebody that they don't like, they're willing to just completely smear those people.
Yeah, even in local politics, I know people who say like I'm trying to not say the word idiot or crazy or insane because those are also ableist terms. So it is getting into it's a real problem. It is a real problem. Now I don't think I did condemn. I don't really care. It's not a big when I say this, it's not a big thing to me. It's just an internet thing that gets views, obviously. But I thought Destiny's tweet was stupid about the drowning kids. I really don't care that much. Like it's not a thing. But still, I don't want to go that far in the opposite direction. Obviously, that's like the analogy I used was I can show people like, oh look, Eminem is such a great rapper. I am so Eminem is such a great rapper. But then he's like, I smother and rape my own mother, and it's like, okay, well, you might not, people might not like it when he says that. There's a level to being edgy that would make sense, I think, but there's an issue of both sides right now of the extremes.
Yep. Yeah, it's well, and that is kind of the issue is like whether or not people are capable of being just a bit more pragmatic. And this is one of the conversations that we were having the other day is that even if you don't like somebody or you don't like what it is that they say, you don't have to be like super picky and whining and crying about every little thing that they do or say. But that's just what these people do is they're not capable of like existing like a normal person or having normal conversations. And you can see that when you watch somebody like Dean. All of his videos are him just kind of going down bullet points from one thing to the next. And then when you see the conversation with me, it becomes blatantly obvious he doesn't have talking points for that. Or when you see him go talk to Destiny, he doesn't have talking points for that. And so he just doesn't really have much to say. He doesn't come in this like very like confident, grandiose manner like he does with all of the fucking MAGA kids because yeah, he's not going to be nearly as confident with other people if they actually know what the fuck they're talking about.
Pain. Right now with I don't know. Do you have a general I don't know theory for what's happening with the Epstein files? So like my quick like take is just the inconsistencies. You can just pound home on that. You don't need to claim to know any conspiracies. Obviously, like Trump said, they're fake, then they're real. They have something about Trump in them only because Obama put it there, but also it has nothing about Trump because they would have shared it. But also, why would Obama and Biden make stuff about Trump in the Epstein files if they were not going to use it? So like all that stuff happening, them delaying the votes, and like I don't know, are they trying to get the files prepared or fake files or pedophiles? What do you think's going on?
I mean, I think that obviously we don't have like real evidence that Trump is in there. He was best friends with Epstein for a long time. They lived right next to each other for years in Florida. Trump was all on the flight logs a ton of times. He was there's tons of videos of them together. There's women talking about Trump groping her around Epstein. There's just a ton of stories of them always kind of being together and hanging out all the time. But that's not evidence that Trump ever did anything with kids. Obviously, Trump said a lot of derogatory things about underage women as well. But that, again, that's not evidence that he actually engaged with underage kids. But I will say that without evidence, I'm not making a claim that he is doing any of those things or that there's evidence of him doing any of those things. Though his actions make me super suspicious of him. The way that he talks about this, the way that he always avoids it. The Fox News interview a while ago where they're asking him, are you going to release the MLK files? Yes. Are you going to release the JFK files? Yes. Are you going to release the Epstein files? Oh, who knows? There's a lot of fake stuff in there. I don't know. That's they lie a lot in there. I don't know about all that. Like, he's always just been very sus when it comes to this subject. So I don't know.
He might have forgotten. I was thinking too, he's so old and falling apart. He's so unhealthy and like dying. He may have forgotten, like maybe he did something bad with Epstein, but he forgets like how bad it was. Or yeah, I think he definitely has experiences with barely legal or 16 and up. We've seen enough with like pageants or parties that he's been a part of and the way he's spoken about it and the actions he's done. We obviously don't have proof of anything. I don't think he's like a raging like kids, 12-year-olds or whatever, but he's definitely was involved in something that was illegal in my opinion. We know for a fact he had underage girls in a casino, and underage I mean by the casino laws of under 21. And we know that he's been really weird talking about his daughter, his 1 year, like just in general, like a 1-year-old having sexy legs like her mother and having breasts, and his daughter trying to get her to have breast implants and all that kind of stuff. And I really do think that for most of MAGA, Epstein was always just for like attacking liberals.
I don't know if you saw the Miss USA pageant, but he actually had Ivanka host one of those pageants, and the other guy who was hosting it with her was like hitting on her the entire time. And Trump is sitting in the audience, like laughing and clapping it up and hemming and hawing over the whole thing, just fucking hilarious, while this old dude is creeping on his 15-year-old daughter. And she actually says in the on stage that she's only 15, and he's like, oh, they didn't make them like you when I was 15 years old, like, and he's just totally creeping on his fucking daughter the entire time. It's so gross. And there's just a lot of stuff like that, like him telling the 8-year-old girl that he's going to date her in 10 years and just weird stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, who knows?
It's amazing. Before I go to bed, I'm just curious, what's your plans? Because I haven't talked to you in a while. What's your plans with the stream, and are you focusing on TikTok more now, or are you just doing like the normal grind? Are you doing any panels or anything like that? Like, I by the way, I'll just say right now, I cannot stand Wick. I think his panels are terrible. I think his demeanor is terrible. I cannot stand him. I'm a hater, full hater. I don't really care. I just think it's terrible content. It's really, I'm sorry, but anyways.
No, I don't have any plans right now. I'm going to end up doing panels in the future. I'm probably going to be moving soon, and so I don't know. Not probably. I am moving soon. I just don't know how, like what the timeline is on it right now. But once I move, I'm definitely going to try to put a lot more energy into probably 2 separate things: is 1 doing panels, and then 2 doing video essays, and kind of try to focus on those 2 things as content going forward. But not sure. How many days do you think until Obama gets arrested?
I think he's been arrested and been replaced with a deep state model to make sure we don't know he's arrested. They're just making sure they're refining the details right now, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be, good things are happening. I heard it on Rumble x.qxc.com. So yeah, it's really nice to see justice finally brought for when Obama did that.
Yeah, I'll have to DuckDuckGo that.
Yeah, but the thing about the Duck Dynasty though, like, yeah, the dynasty is what we really want to take down.
Yep, that's it's gonna be rough for Obama, man. This one's definitely real. This is the one time where he's really definitely totally telling the truth, and it's that he's definitely gonna follow through with this one. It's totally gonna be so real.
Yeah. Oh man, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm trying not to get burnt out either doing this stuff too much. I think it's good to take a break, and I don't do that. But yeah, if you ever want to like chat about anything in particular, or if you want to have any debates or have some type of facilitation of conversations, definitely let me know. I've been looking for collaboration in general. It's a little bit tiring to run, as you know, to run your own show by yourself is pretty tiring sometimes. So it's always good to have someone else to bounce off of. So definitely feel free to reach out if you have anything.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, my chat's getting super worked up over the fact that they want Obama's clone to release his birth certificate now. So we're gonna have to look into that.
Oh, do you think? Oh, one more question. Do you think AI is going to destroy America? Like, do you think AI is going to end civilization, or do you think it's going to be a benefit?
I have no idea. It's kind of hard to tell because there's a lot of people who work in AI who give contradictory statements, who are supposed to be different types of experts on these things. But there are some who say that, like, if you program self-learning models who are capable of just anything and they're able to self-learn anything, that the possibilities are just endless at that point, that they can literally just never stop learning things and can end up being way smarter and way better than everybody else. Whereas other people say, no, like, we have to program it on how to learn specific things. And so it can't actually self-learn new ways to think. And so we have to train it on how to do that or how to access something or something like that. So I'm not sure, because yes, I would think that if something is capable of self-learning, that it would be capable of just about literally anything. Like it should be, right?
Yeah, well, the technology's already out there. If someone wanted to make a video of you doing a crime and frame you, they could already do it. So we don't have anything in place to protect against that. And all the people who run AI are on podcasts right now, like Theo Vaughn, making sure their image is nice and bright while they install our communist dictatorship. All right, well, I think AI's gonna kill us.
But on Instagram all the time, there's fake videos that people are reviewing as very real videos all the time on Instagram, and not a single fucking person in the comments is calling it AI. Like, they have no idea that this shit's AI.
Yeah,
it is.
There's already AI self-preservation
too.
Like
it's obvious, but yeah.
They're already gonna integrate themselves in the power grid. It's whatever. It's who knows what's gonna happen. It's enough. We have to. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know what to say. All right. Thanks for reaching out.
All right. Later, homie.
Have a
good one.
All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having a good conversation. Thank you for chilling. Thank you for doing all this stuff. Wow, this is really good at limiting the volume. I did not know it did that. I set up the mic to do good sounds and stuff. To try and do a good job with my sounds. Who's this guy that just raided me? Why did someone raid me? Non-fawn? Who the hell is non-fawn, dude? Is it a rider? It's a rider. It's a right-winger. I bet it's a right-winger. This is my yada yada. Y'all are sheep. Your channel will crumble when Trump's gone. Bro, if Trump's not here, I don't give a shit about doing a channel. What was that guy's name? It's called a limiter. Shut the hell up. Non-mon? Who's non-fawn? I want to find non-fawn. 1.39K. Reacting to Jubilee. Reacting to chat with y'all. The last neoliberal. Wow, debater.
And work well when a country is democratic, when their government is transparent, and when a lot of these state-owned enterprises.
Oh my god, he's just like me.
Very agnostic, right?
He's just like me, dude.
Who accepts like BLS data,
Wow,
basically at all.
Thanks, non-fawn. All right, guys. Again, thank you for hanging out. I went through all this work to bring this whole setup to my hotel. Okay, this is my last night streaming until Monday. I'll be back Monday. So thank you for liking, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. If you have any money to donate, thank you Sri for $5, by the way. I saw your $5, Sri. Sri gets me a McDonald's Happy Meal every single day I stream. That's my reward for streaming is Sri gets me a Happy Meal. Yeah, thank you. If you want to donate, Jolah Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Really appreciate all the support. But yeah, time to go to bed. I'll be back on Monday, guys. For real. I did all I could. I did all I could to be here tonight. But it's over now. Alright, guys. Have a good night. See you guys. Have a good one. GGGGGs. Of course your donations come from Pakistan. Wow, you are gay and cringe. You dumbass. Third rate. Gay ass. Stupid ass. Cringe ass. Scary ass. Cringe ass. Stupid ass. Scary ass. Cringe.